Hey guys, it's Sim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Friday, and that means tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. Now, a few things about tonight's Smackdown. I thought just about all the matches, Viper, Niven, and B-Fab was okay at best, but for the most part, I thought all the matches were really good, but the downer for this show, at least for me, was that the show felt long. Like, this felt all of 3 hours to me. Like, sometimes we'll be on watching a 3-hour Raw or a 3-hour Smackdown now, and it's like, oh, show just went by kind of quick. Not this one. This one, from the time it started to the time it ended, I'm like, holy crap, that felt like it took forever. So that was the one downer for me, that this show did just feel extra long. But other than that, I thought we got, good build for Saturday night's main event coming up. We got 2 more matches. Well, actually, a match and a segment announced, we'll talk about later. But we're not getting much in the way of the Royal Rumble, and that is the bad thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, we know of one woman in the Women's Royal Rumble. Unless I missed something tonight, only Nia Jax this past Monday on Raw has announced that she will be in the Rumble. Other than that, I haven't heard another name. Like, we can all assume who's going to be in the Women's Rumble. Liv Morgan, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, Bayley. But none of them have actually been announced. And I get Bayley not announcing because she had the title match tonight. But now she can't. Bianca, Naomi. I mean, Roxanne Perez, who showed up on SmackDown tonight. It's like, all these names should be announcing, I'm in the Rumble, I'm in the Rumble, I'm in the Rumble. And you can even kind of say the same for the men's. We've got, I want to say, let me see right now. Hold on. Let me pull up the list I have here for the men's Royal Rumble. So far, we have 8 men declared for the Rumble and 1 woman out of 30. So yeah, I don't know what we're doing. They just want everything to be a surprise, I guess. I don't know. But again, overall, not a bad SmackDown. Kind of good. Pretty good, I would say. But it just felt long. Also, sorry about my voice. It's shot right now. It doesn't sound as bad as it did yesterday. Hence why I didn't post as many videos and utilized our website more, pwunlimited.co. Because I always want to try to bring you guys the news when I can. And so I'm like, man, my throat's killing me. I can't really record much. Type. My fingers still work. So if there's ever a day where I don't post a lot, but that there might be some news, or you're just curious, is there any news today? Go check the website, pwunlimited.co. But with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, help us out over on YouTube. You can do that by hitting that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, if you want to support the channel in another way, you can hit the join button and become a channel member. But no matter what tier it's at, we greatly appreciate it, even if it's just the $1 tier. We highly appreciate it. As a channel member, you get emotes and emojis you can use in the live chat, plus some cool videos we're working on, like early access to, well, if you were a member, you would have got early access to our John Cena fantasy booking video. Plus, next week, I'm going to be doing a watch-along. We're going to watch in 2 weeks. Maybe we'll do it next week. Maybe we'll do one next week and one the following week. But we're going to do a watch-along of a retro Royal Rumble. I might do 2 of them, actually, for member subscribers only. So if you're subscribed as a member here on YouTube, hitting that join button, or if you're subscribed over at patreon.com patreon.com/PW Unlimited. We're going to watch a retro, maybe 2 retro Royal Rumbles with you guys. So we're going to do some watch alongs and have fun with that. But also remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use our code PW Unlimited at checkout and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Whether you're buying a new game or newer game, I would say, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Maybe you're getting into Marvel Rivals and getting their Season 1. Or you're just getting something for Fortnite. Maybe you're getting Kong, Godzilla, or the new Skyline. Use our code PW Unlimited at checkout for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. But with all of that, we got Friday Night Smackdown to talk about that kicked off in a really cool way. The show comes on the air, and Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett are actually walking from like the concourse area. I think they're walking from some backstage area, maybe is what. That's what it was, because they like Joe pointed at a sign that said Tiffany Stratton on a locker room door, and they were walking into the arena, telling us the history of this arena, about how Muhammad Ali fought here, Jimi Hendrix played in this building, and so forth. Really, really cool. Barrett then yelled that it's Tiffy time because, well, she will make her first defense tonight against Bayley. Stratton was then shown walking into the building from earlier in the day. Bayley was shown as well, along with Jimmy Uso, Carmelo Hayes, and others. Tessitore said there was only one person deserving of opening this show, and Barrett said, yeah, it's the hometown Hall of Famer himself. And out came Rey Mysterio. But Rey did open up the show, and here's the thing. So Rey is a Raw superstar showing up here on SmackDown in his hometown. Now, let me fast forward to our main event. Wade had a problem with Bayley being on Raw this past Monday in her hometown of San Jose, and then flying to Orlando to be on NXT, and then back to California for SmackDown tonight. But how can he be, maybe not upset is the wrong word, how can he have a problem with Bayley showing up on Raw this week, but not Rey showing up tonight on SmackDown? Very odd, Wade Barrett. So Rey comes down, and the biggest thing Rey said early on was that he declared he will be in the Royal Rumble. Rey Mysterio will be in the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble. He talks about how the Royal Rumble is significant to his career because in 2006, he entered at number 2, won the dang thing, then went on to win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 22. Rey said the competition is heavy in this year's Rumble. He cited names like Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and John Cena. Rey then reflected again on the fact that he won the 2006 Royal Rumble, and he did it for a friend. And the crowd started chanting for Eddie. They're going nuts. Eddie, 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 Eddie. Out of nowhere, Kevin Owens' music would hit, and Kevin would come down in the ring with the Winged Eagle belt. Owens at one point stood in the entryway with a microphone. Owens said that he was sorry for interrupting Rey, but had to go out there because he heard Rey talk about how he was going to win the Rumble. Basically, Owens was like, hey, you can challenge me at WrestleMania. I got a belt. I'm a champion. Owens touted how he's main evented Mania before with Stone Cold Steve Austin. He also stated that he's won tag titles in the main event with his best friend, WrestleMania. Owens said that he stood there as the true rightful champion. Owens said that there was one thing left for him to accomplish, and that was step into the ring with Rey Mysterio. Owens said that he will root for Rey to win, so Rey can then challenge him at WrestleMania. He said that it would be an honor to have Rey choose him. Rey then said, you're not even the champion, all due respect. Cody's the real champion. Rey said, if I go on to win the Royal Rumble and you beat Cody, then I'll be happy to face you. But right now, you're not the champion. Owens then yelled at Rey, saying that he is the champion and he earned and deserved the title he has on his shoulder. Mysterio then tried. I'm putting fake info in the live chat. You're getting timed out. I'm going to tell you guys now. I tell you guys all the time. You put fake info in the live chat, you get a five-minute timeout. We're not doing this bullshit. We're not putting fake information, whether you're making it up yourself or you read it from a fake Facebook account or Twitter account. I don't care. We're not putting false information in our live chats. And I'll just say it. No, the women's speed title will not be defended at the Royal Rumble in 2026. Just saying. Mysterio tried to calm down Owens. Mysterio told Owens, "You're acting delusional, kind of like my son, Dominic." Ooh. Damn, I haven't talked this much all at once in the last couple of days. Owens tried to attack Ray with the Winged Eagle belt, but Ray thwarted him and ran Owens out of the ring. Ray's music hit to end day, well, pretty good segment. We then see Naomi and Bianca backstage talking about, how they're leading the division, but still really want to know who attacked Jade. Naomi said that they need to focus on tonight, though, and getting their hands on Nia and Candice. Naomi told Belair to wrap her braid so they don't repeat what happened last time. Because if you remember last time, there was some communication in the four-way with the whole braid and Bianca accidentally whipping Naomi with it. Nick also then shown talking to Rey Mysterio backstage, and Aldous told Rey, "You can have it. You can have a match with Kevin Owens tonight." Cody then walks in, and Rhodes told Aldous that you need to be cleared with a clean bill of health, or you have been cleared, I mean. And Cody's like, "Cool." But I'm like, okay, Cody's clear. Then if he wasn't clear before tonight, why'd you let him fight in the main event last week where he teamed with Jimmy? Just saying. Aldous said that he had an addendum for the ladder match at the Royal Rumble. And the contract needs to be signed. Cody said, "I'll sign it once Owens signs it." And then we get the same thing later where Kevin goes, "I'll sign it when Cody signs it." So more on that. Our tag match does go in 10.5 minutes. Bianca Belair and Naomi against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. So Jax attacked Naomi to start the match. LeRae took out Belair. Jax and Belair then ended up being the legal women to basically start things off, and the heels did have control early. LeRae tagged in, and Belair gained the advantage over LeRae. Jax interfered, but it didn't sway Belair, who pressed LeRae out of the ring onto Nia. Belair then posed as we went to a commercial break. When the show returned, the heels were in control. LeRae went to the second rope and went for a crossbody, but Belair rolled through and lifted LeRae for a slam. But LeRae grabbed the braid and took down Belair. It looked like Belair wanted to tag Naomi, but Nia pulled Naomi off the apron. Belair was stuck in the ring. LeRae then kicked Belair and tagged in Nia, who hit a Samoan drop on Bianca. Jax then ran at Belair, but Belair moved. LeRae intervened, and it was enough for Jax to get to the second rope and lift Belair. Belair fought off Jax and landed a crossbody on Nia from the top rope. Naomi then received the hot tag and ran wild, kicked Jax in the head before she planted Jax for a 2. Naomi then hit a split-legged moonsault on Jax, but LeRae broke up the pin. Belair tagged in, but Jax fired up against the 2 and dropped them both. As it come towards the end of the match, LeRae tagged herself in as Belair landed a spear on Jax. Belair went for a springboard move, but Candice cut her off with the basement dropkick. Jax then hit a senton on Belair, and LeRae covered Belair for a good near fall. LeRae then went at Belair, but Belair threw LeRae into the corner. Belair covered LeRae, but Jax broke up the pin with a leg drop. Bianca then moved, and Nia actually came down with a second leg drop on Candice this time. Naomi tagged in, hit her finisher, and pinned Candice to pick up the victory. The tag team champions do retain their titles. They're winners tonight. Titles were not on the line. Yet we did learn that in Atlanta, I want to say not next week, but the following week. Let me double check on that. I want to say it's in 2 weeks. Tag titles will be on the line. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Taking place January 28th. So not next week's NXT, but in 2 weeks, NXT will be in Atlanta, Georgia at Center Stage, and Naomi and Bianca will defend against the Meta Girls. Also, speaking of NXT, former WWE superstar and former 24/7 champion Lindsay Dorado, after teasing yesterday could be returning to WWE tonight, returned at an NXT live event in Citrus Springs. Yeah, you heard me right. Lindsay Dorado is back in NXT. Is back in WWE. Didn't expect that one. Didn't have that on my 2025 bingo card. One of the Lucha House Party members returning to the company. So, Kalisto back. We gonna get the other. Who was the other one? The third one? I could picture his face. Grand Metalik. We gonna get him back too. Reunite Lucha House Party. I don't know. Interesting though. Did not expect that one. But let's pull this up on the screen really fast. Pull up Lindsay Dorado's tweet. Let me get this. I have it right here. Lindsay Dorado. Lindsay Dorado did send out this tweet here. It says, let me zoom in on it real fast so you can read it better. This cat's out the bag. Time to get hashtag Lucha Lit at WWE NXT. Hashtag NXT Citrus Springs. Now, I'm not familiar with who he faced, but yeah, Lindsay Dorado is back. As we move on forward, close this really fast, get back to my notes. Oh, I thought I clicked the wrong button. I thought we were stuck on that screen. All right, here we go. So Byron Saxton interviewed Bayley backstage. This is actually from earlier in the day. Saxton asked Bayley what the match against Tiffany actually means to her. Bayley said tonight will be huge for her. And then she reflected on the last year and what that meant to her, winning the Rumble, beating EO, and then losing the title. Bayley said that she felt like she could have done better as champion, and her reign was cut short. Well, because Tiffany helped Nia beat her. Bayley noted how Tiffy turned on her best friend. That makes her want to beat Tiffany that much more. And I'm like, what? What does her turning on Nia have anything to do with you? And you wanting to beat her more? I don't get that. So then we get a weird segment. Meech and Saga with B-Fab in the locker room. And all of a sudden, Piper Niven walks in. And she starts acting like she's secret security. She's like, the room is clear. Everything's good. And you can enter Madam President. And in comes Chelsea Green, the Women's United States Champion. They start jaw-jacking her and Meech. She calls her Mimi. And then B-Fab stands up and gets in her face. And so Piper gets in her face in front of the champ. And that sets up B-Fab versus Piper later in the night. Jimmy was shown walking around backstage, coming towards the ring. Jimmy said his brother's getting a title match, so it's time for Big Jim to step up and try to get his. Jimmy's music hits, and the camera follows Jimmy through the entranceway into the ring. Carmelo then makes his entrance with a microphone and has some, interesting things to say. So, Hayes was like, your brother, he's getting a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. Roman, he's in the Royal Rumble, and what are you doing? Oh, that's right, nothing. Melo asked Jimmy how he could take shots at him while he's just sitting on the bench, sitting on the side, not really doing much. Melo told Jimmy he'd show him why Melo don't miss tonight on the show. Remember, guys, if you want to get your comment, questions, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat or Twitch bits on Twitch. So Jimmy jump-started the match when Melo stood on the apron and Jimmy threw Melo into the ring. Jimmy unloaded on Melo briefly, but Melo came back and stomped on Jimmy. Melo chopped Jimmy before running into an arm drag and a neck breaker combo that Jimmy hit. Jimmy went for a hip attack and Melo moved. Didn't matter much though, because Jimmy punched Melo and then suplexed Melo on the apron. Jimmy followed this up with a dive on Melo to the outside. Show then went to a commercial break. When the show returned, it was the top of the hour and Hayes had control. Hayes was running wild for a little while until eventually Jimmy attempted to fire up and went for a splash, but Melo moved and then hit Jimmy with a reverse springboard DDT. He got a 2 off of it. Melo ran the ropes, and both guys hit clotheslines to kind of reset things in the middle of the ring. Jimmy, why did I write Jay? I wrote Jay, I meant Jimmy. Jimmy took control when the two finally started to get to their feet, but Melo came back and planted Jimmy for a 2. Melo ran the ropes and brought, I wrote this way wrong. Melo ran the ropes and took down Jimmy, which led to a good near fall. Jimmy then fired up off of this. The crowd was going crazy, and he went to the top rope. But when he jumped off the top rope, Melo hit him in midair with the first 48. Great near fall. Like Jimmy kicked out at the last millisecond. Crowd starts chanting, "This is awesome." Melo then went to the top rope, but Jimmy moved off of the nothing but net attempt. Jimmy followed this up with a super kick, and that led to even better near fall attempt. Like if you thought the last one from Carmelo was good to Jimmy to Carmelo even better. Like Carmelo Hayes is great in the ring, but it's for some reason Triple H just hasn't given him much time to shine. Very weird. Very weird. Jimmy then landed a hip attack and lifted Melo, but Melo rolled Jimmy up for a 2. Jimmy then speared Melo and went to the top, but when he did, all of a sudden Jacob Fatu appeared. Jacob would appear on one side of the ring, and Tama Tonga would appear on the same side as Jimmy and pushed him off the top to end the match in DQ. So the match itself does go for roughly 12 minutes, but it ends in DQ. After the match has been ended, Fatu hit a hip attack on Jimmy while Tama Tonga DDT'd him. Fatu and Tonga then stomped on Jimmy, and Melo tried to be like, yeah, good job, guys. You beat his ass. And then, well, they took him out too. Fatu then hip attacked Jimmy again, and out came Solo. This was very interesting because what WrestleVotes tweeted out tonight. Apparently, Solo's, I guess you could say, plans for tonight were drastically changed. So let's talk about what we saw, and then we'll talk about what we're kind of supposed to get, I guess you could say. Solo came down to the ring, and the crowd's booing really loud, so Jacob Fatu told them all to shut up. Before Sikoa said anything, he grabbed the mic, right? And he just drops it. Just drops it. Mic drop. He gets out of the ring. Starts walking over towards commentary. He takes his jacket off. He's wearing a red sports coat. Takes it off, drapes it over his shoulder, and then just leaves. Walks through the timekeeper's area and out. And he's gone. And he just leaves. And I'm like, okay, that was interesting. Fatu's in the ring. Him and Tama Tonga, he don't look happy. So Jacob picks up the mic. He screams, "So this is what it's come to, huh?" Fatu said that he's tired of the disrespect and the hate and the envy. Fatu said that even on a bad day, no one could touch him. Fatu said that he can give a damn if anyone cheers or boos him. But one thing, he won't let people think that he ain't got this, because he's got this. Fatu asked if people thought that he was losing it. And if they thought that, they were crazy. Fatu said the craziest thing about this whole situation, well, that I'm just getting started. And I'm like, oh, an enraged Jacob Fatu, who was telling us we haven't seen the best from him yet? Woo, boy, gotta love it. Now, before we get into the rest of that, I'm going to pull up this tweet from WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes sent out a tweet tonight. That was kind of interesting. The WrestleVotes tweet does read as followed. The Solo Sikoa segment was a hot topic of debate within Creative today. The original rundown this morning had Solo opening the show to address his loss to Roman. So, yeah, him leaving and just not saying a word compared to he was supposed to address the whole tribal combat stuff. Very, very different. Very stark difference to what we ended up getting. As far as compared to what was originally planned. But now the question is, Solo walked away. Solo left the building. Is he done? Is he gone? Where's he going? When's he coming back? But does that now mean Jacob's going to take over? And Jacob wants to lead the tribe, the bloodline, or whatever you want to call this. Him, Tama Tonga. We know that Tonga Loa is going to be gone for a while. Was it torn bicep? What's Tonga Loa's injury? Bicep. So, yeah, I don't know what this is going to lead to, but I am interested, especially with the promo that Jacob Fatu did cut. And then Jacob Fatu is getting a singles match at Saturday Night's main event. So back to the segment. Saturday Night's music hits, and he comes down to the ring and squares off with Fatu, but Knight was ran off and taken out. This then led to Fatu getting the better hand when Braun Strowman's music would hit. Strowman would hit the ring, and the two would kind of square off a little bit. You know, Jacob and Braun. Yet, Tonga tried to hit Braun with a splash, and Braun caught Tonga and disposed of him. Fatu and Braun then engaged in a little stare down. And then Tama Tonga pulled Jacob from the ring and said, hey, we need to do this right now. Let's go. So, very interesting, and it is leading to Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman one-on-one Saturday night's main event a week from tomorrow. So are we finally getting that Jacob Fatu singles run? Is he no longer just going to be the backup, the muscle, the security for Solo Sikoa? Or is he going to be his own man? Probably one of the best that they've got right now. Because as we've seen, Jacob Fatu, amazing in the ring. Jacob Fatu, great on the mic. He's got it all. He's got it all. Now, let's let him shine and see what he can really do. Los Garzas was shown backstage. Basically, they were just getting a pep talk from Santos Escobar. Told him go out there and beat Motor City Machine Guns. Which that match was next. 12-minute match, Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza. Shelly and Angel started things off, quick, fast pace. Traded some series of arm drag, takedowns, and pin attempts. Shelly and Angel chopped Shelly at one point and then tagged Berto in, and he landed a rolling moonsault on Shelly. Ultimately, Sabin and Berto were tagged in, and the legal men and Sabin worked a headlock. Berto caught Sabin and eventually hit a spinning slam on him until Angel kicked Sabin and pulled off the rip away pants when he got tagged back in. And then we go to commercial break. Back from the break, Berto landed a wild double team rollover facebuster on Sabin. Angel tried to keep Sabin from getting the hot tag to Shelly, but it didn't work, and Shelly jumped in and took down the heels. Sabin then tagged in, and the two hit dragon screw leg whips on Berto multiple times for a 2. Shelly then tagged back in and worked a figure 4 on Berto. Angel then tried to run in, and Sabin grabbed him, put him in a figure 4 as well. Berto got to the ropes to break the hold, though. Shelly was then pushed into the second rope turnbuckle via Berto, and Berto followed it up with a follow-away slam for a 2. All 4 wrestlers were in the ring at this point. Los Garzas hit some weird-looking double team. I wasn't really sure what it was, but they get a great near fall off of it. The crowd chants, "This is awesome." Los Garzas then lifted Shelly, but Sabin made the save and cleared the ring. Sabin then hit a suicide dive on Angel and Berto on the outside. Back in the ring, Motor City Machine Guns were going for their Skull and Bones finisher, and Pretty Deadly would show up to try to get involved, but the interference didn't work. They hit the Skull and Bones and pinned Berto to pick up the victory. Really good match. I thought all 4 men worked very well together. And I mean, granted, I'm not the biggest fan of these 3-hour Smackdowns because they just feel long, but we're seeing more people get opportunities. We're seeing more people on the show. Los Garzas now more than we had before. B-Fab now getting matches. So it's like the extra hour is providing more people opportunities to get reps and matches and TV time. So that is a plus. But it's just like the shows feel long, though. And it's like, how long is the audience going to stick around for 3 hours? Like, how long going forward are they going to stick around for these 3-hour Smackdowns if they don't get the pacing right? If you know what I mean. But again, good wrestling. We had some really good wrestling other than the B-Fab Piper Niven match, which nothing against it. B-Fab just needs more ring time because they haven't given her a lot. Because she just looks green. But like, we're getting really good matches and good shows. but it's just the pacing seems off and they feel long. And it could have been because I was watching the international Netflix feed, and so I'm not going to break. I'm not getting commercials during matches, and so the matches feel the full 12 minutes that they're getting. Unlike when I get a commercial break, I decompress, I don't pay attention for 3 to 4 minutes, and then I come back when they come back. It could be a thing. That could be a real possibility that I'm just thinking now. It could be that I'm not, able to stop paying attention when they go to break. Because that's a 3 to 4 minutes that I can go do something else, work on a tweet or a graphic or a social media post for Threads and Instagram. You know what I mean? I didn't think about it like that. The shows feel long because I'm watching them on Netflix with no commercials. And so because of that, I'm not getting as much downtime throughout the show as before. I didn't think about it like that. So Nick Aldis was walking backstage and ran into Kevin Owens. He basically told Kevin, I need you to sign the contract for the Royal Rumble match. And Owens is like, oh, Cody hasn't signed it yet? I ain't signing it till Cody signs it. And Aldis was all kinds of, perturbed by it and then told him, go get ready for your Ray match. Then we had a 2.5 minute match. 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Piper Niven and B-Fab. Hey, it was short, but you just need to get B-Fab reps. And you put her in there with someone that's pretty dang good, and that's Piper Niven. Piper Niven, when she can go, she can go. So having B-Fab work with someone like Piper, awesome. But Niven ran at B-Fab, and B-Fab moved, and then Niven ran into the corner. B-Fab planted Niven and got a 1 off of it. B-Fab then ran at Niven, but Niven caught her and slammed her. B-Fab's got the problem where she takes extra steps, it feels like, when she's running. Becky Lynch used to do that back in the day. She would run the ropes or out of the corner. It would look like she's taking extra unneeded steps. Where was I? Niven caught B-Fab and slammed her. She got a 2. B-Fab got up and DDT'd her and got a 2 of her own. B-Fab kicked Niven to the outside. B-Fab rolled Niven back into the ring and clotheslined Chelsea Green on the outside. B-Fab then rolled back into the ring, and Niven hit a senton and a Piper driver for the win. After the match, Green and Niven then attacked B-Fab. Michin came down and ran them off the kendo stick. I think we're going to get the tag match eventually. Michin and B-Fab versus Piper and Chelsea. It's coming. It's coming. They've teased it like 3 times now. Joe Tessitore led a tribute to Bob Uecker, who passed away this week. Rest in peace. Byron Saxton then interviewed Tiffany Stratton backstage. Saxton said that Bayley was extremely driven to win the title tonight. Tiffany said Bayley has had a career of big moments, but Tiffany has already had big moments. In fact, Tiffy said she is a big moment, and it's Tiffy time. Tiffany said toodles, and then Saxton just stood there by himself in the hallway. So then we got the big match of the night. Ray, well, actually, I don't know. Technically, the women's title match is probably the big match, plus it was the main event. Well, this was the match that you hear this match is on the show, and this way you want to watch the show. It's Ray and Kevin Owens, and they didn't disappoint. Oh, no. This match is great. Both men kind of tried to listen to the crowd early on. Ray got the best of Owens. Remember, they're in his hometown of San Jose. Or no, well, I'm a dumbass. Not San Jose. It's Bayley's hometown. That's really where for Raw. San Diego. Well, San Diego, California. The real Southern California. That's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, LA, Southern California. Sure, it's South California, but it ain't the southern tip. The southern San Diego. Real Southern California. As only a true Californian would say. Because you always have all these people going, oh, LA, Southern California. And it's South California, I would say. South California. Real Southern is San Diego, right there on the border. Because you ain't crossing the border from LA. No, you still got to go on 4.5, 5 hours, depending on where you're coming from and where you're going. Anyways, I digress. Owens threw a fit at one point, and Owens eventually knocked Rey Mysterio to the outside. Mysterio returned to the ring and took Owens down before he tried again, and Owens caught Mysterio for a slam. Owens followed this up with a senton. Owens then ran Mysterio chest first into the corner, and when Rey hit the corner, I don't know what it was, but there was a loud just tung. It sounded like he hit the metal. I don't know what it was. Owens hit a knee on Mysterio, and the action spilled to the outside. Rey did the 619 spot on Owens, and Owens ran into the barrier on the outside. From there, Mysterio landed a sliding splash under the bottom rope. Both guys then sold the pain, and we went to commercial break. When the show did return from the break, Owens had the upper hand inside the ring, throwing Mysterio into the corner chest first. Owens then ran at Mysterio. Rey moved, and Owens ran into the post. Mysterio then went to the top and hit a splash on Owens before landing a bulldog for a 2. Rey set it for a 619. The KO got back to his feet and super kicked Rey in the face. Owens went for a pop-up powerbomb, but Rey turned it into a tilt-a-whirl DDT for a 2. Now I'm just going to say it. People are going, oh, Rey's getting old. Rey, when's Rey going to lose it? When's Rey going to start slowing it? Rey did this tilt-a-whirl DDT, and I don't know if I've seen in the last, I don't know, a couple months to years, Rey swoop around someone's head as fast as he did to KO tonight. Like he came up, whooped around like the head of Kevin and the body, Kevin's body. He did it so fast. I go, holy shit! Isn't back in 1996? Halloween Havoc with Eddie? Like Rey looked amazing tonight. I don't know if it was because he was working with Kevin, and Kevin Owens is amazing. Kevin Owens is like one of the most trusting guys in the ring that you could work with. But yeah, Rey looked way quicker and smoother than normal. Not saying Rey doesn't normally look quick and smooth and whatnot, but for some reason, there was just something about this match with KO tonight that he looked a lot better than normal. Again, it could just been the opponent. So Owens was perched on the top rope at one point, and Owens headbutted his way out of it. Owens then hit a frog splash, or as they call it, a bulldog splash. Crowd erupted in an Eddie chant as Rey kicked out. And I think it was Wade goes, Rey ain't going to lose it to that move. So Owens then set up for a superplex, but Rey turned it into a sunset flip from the top, and he followed this up with the modified destroyer for a near fall. Mysterio went for a springboard splash, and he missed. Owens followed up with a stunner. Mysterio actually kicked out at 2. Owens then went to the top and went for a swanton, but Rey got his knees up, hit the 619, and went to the top. But Owens stumbled into the referee, which knocked him into Mysterio and knocked Mysterio off the top rope. From there, Owens landed a pop-up powerbomb and picked up the victory. Owens pinned Rey. So the match is over. And Owens threw his belt aside and pulled Rey in to shake his hand. Owens then bowed at Rey and will set him up for the package pile driver. All right, before he was about to do it, Cody's music would hit. So basically, Kevin threw Rey down, and Cody ran out and attacked Owens. Tons of officials came out to break everything up. They brawled anyways. Owens then ran into the crowd and stood tall above everything and posed with his winged eagle belt. Cody looked very angry in the ring, and the show went to commercial break. Good little segment here. And as we get here next, all this is like, you two are out of control, and I can't keep the peace anymore. Aldis said, Cody, you need to sign the contract, and if you won't, we won't do the match. So how about we're doing this? Next week is Saturday night's main event. You and Kevin will both show up. You and Kevin will both relinquish your championships and give them to me. So that way we have them for the Royal Rumble, and I can hang them above the ring for the ladder match. He's like, but you guys are so out of control, I can't keep the peace anymore. I can't keep you guys under control. So to make sure that this contract signing goes off without a hitch, I'm not moderating it. We're going to have a special enforcer. It's a Hall of Famer. It's the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels will be the special enforcer, the moderator of sorts, I guess you can say, for the contract signing at Saturday night's main event between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. All hell about to break loose. Wonder if Shawn's going to super kick anybody. Or, and I doubt it, what if Shawn takes a pile driver? Or a pop-up powerbomb from KO? I don't know. I don't know if Shawn wants to take a bump or not. But You want to get Kevin frickin' Owens over as the frickin' most hated heel in the biz? You have him pile drive frickin' Shawn Michaels. You have him take old man Shawn, who's just sitting in Florida running NXT, and you have him pile drive him. You have him take out Cody with like a powerbomb on the apron, and then frickin' Shawn walks over and goes, "What are you doing?" And then Shawn walks up and is like, "What are you doing? You can't do that. We ain't having any of that." And he grabs Shawn and pile drives him. How nuts would that be? I could be completely wrong and Shawn don't take no single bump at all. But you want to get KO over as a big dastardly heel? They already teased him in Triple H, and that ain't going to happen. Triple H, pacemaker, ain't taking no bumps. But Shawn could. And Shawn should. This is also when we learned of Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman on the show as well. As far as next week's SmackDown does go, we did learn that LA Knight will be going one-on-one with Tama Tonga. That should be really good. And Pretty Deadly will be taking on Motor City Machine Guns. Speaking of Pretty Deadly, they were walking backstage when, well, DIY ran up on them. Ciampa was very angry and was like, what was that? What are you doing? You basically just gave this Machine Guns the win. You helped them. Ciampa said, "You guys are nothing more than jokes." And everyone was always laughing at you guys. Ciampa left, and Gargano told Pretty Deadly that it was nothing more than tough love. They truly believe in Pretty Deadly. Gargano said they want to make life better for Pretty Deadly and then walk away. This is when Apollo Crews came up and was just like, "Yeah, you know they're screwing with you, right? You know they don't care about you." And Pretty Deadly like kind of just gave him the cold shoulder and didn't even pay him any attention. So when they walk off, all of a sudden Johnny runs back in and attacks him. Gargano attacks Crews and threw him into a road case. Then it's almost time for our main event. Bayley comes out. Camera also showed Roxanne Perez sitting in the front row with, well, as we see, makes a lot of sense. Thought we were going to get more with this, but we really didn't. So Bayley comes out, Roxanne's shown, and then we get a video package. And we see this woman, blonde, and I go, "Oh, special video for Tiffy's entrance." And then all of a sudden I go, "Wait, no, that's Charlotte." We got our first Charlotte Flair video. We got our first Charlotte returning video. Kind of looked like something you'd see on like Love Island or Love is Blind, the way it was shot and edited and stuff. Basically, Charlotte, I guess you would say, off Miami coast. She was in a yacht. She was laying on the yacht, driving the yacht, all kinds of things on the water. She's driving a car. She showed off all her jewelry and whatnot. And it had a interesting vibe for it. At one point, you hear him go, 14-time world champion. And they're like, Charlotte Flair, and this and that. And then it says, big Charlotte Flair letters on the screen, text. And yeah, our first vignette for Charlotte Flair. As we heard a couple weeks back, I think it was a WrestleVotes report, Charlotte is going to be getting a new presentation when she comes back. I think based off of this, we're going to get some sort of like bougie, rich chick. Could be wrong, but I think we're going to get some bougie, mean girl, rich chick that thinks she's better than everybody. Like what Tiffany Stratton was originally supposed to be in NXT, I think. That's really what I think. But Tiffany's whole thing was, Daddy's always paying for all my stuff, and I'm going to go shopping all the time, and I'm going to hang out by the pool, and then I'm going to come do my thing. But I don't know exactly what this Charlotte gimmick's going to be, other than it comes off as some like bougie, rich, I'm better than everybody because I've got money, and that leads to power, fame, and so forth. Just my thoughts on this video package. I could be completely wrong. But before we get into our main event, the Women's World Championship match that went 20 minutes, we got to hear from our sponsor, David's Cookies. When it comes to delicious, there's nothing quite like David's Cookies 5-pound cookie and brownie tin. Imagine the joy of opening a tin filled with an irresistible assortment of freshly baked cookies and rich, fudgy brownies. Perfect for sharing with family, gifting to friends, or indulging yourself. This tin is packed with love and flavor. Whether it's for a special occasion or just because, make every moment sweeter with David's Cookies, 5-pound cookie and brownie tin. Order now with our link in the description below. Hit that QR code on the screen or use our link, pwunlimited.co/David's Cookies now to get yourself or someone special that ultimate dessert experience. Tiffany Stratton comes out for the main event, and this match goes literally the last second. I think they went a minute over, to be completely honest. Because when Tiffany was leaving the ring and the thing on the bottom said, executive producers, Lee Fitting, Paul Levesque, it was 10:01. I don't know if I was a minute behind or not, but I think the show went like a minute over. The two lock up repeatedly early on, and no one really gets the better of the other. Kind of like a stalemate. Trip and fall attempts, stalemate. Lock up again, stalemate. Tiffany then posed, and Bayley grabbed her and set her up for the Bayley to belly, but Stratton blocked it. Bayley then clotheslined Stratton over the top, with Stratton on the outside of the ring. The show into a commercial break. Back from the break, Bayley hit a draping neck breaker, and the action spilled to the outside. Excuse me, losing my voice here. Stratton went to work. Where was I? Hold on. Lost the spot. Action spilled to the outside. Bayley then went for some drop kicks, but Stratton telegraphed and ran Bayley into the ring post. Back inside the ring, Stratton went to work on Bayley's arm. Bayley on the apron. Stratton took out Bayley's leg 2 times to plant Bayley on the apron. Stratton then ran around the ring, but it only led to Stratton running into a forearm from Bayley. Bayley then rolled Stratton back into the ring, and the two traded forearms. Stratton clotheslined Bayley and went for a running hip attack into the ropes, but Bayley moved. As a result, Bayley went for a suicide dive, but Stratton caught Bayley and trapped her between the ring and the ring curtain. Stratton then hit a hip attack of her own. Bayley tried to get back into the ring, but Stratton hit a knee to keep Bayley on the outside. Stratton went for a splash on the outside, and Bayley caught her and landed a Bayley to belly. Both wrestlers were down and down and down. Finally got back into the ring as we go to commercial break, and Tiffany's selling hard here to the point where you think she's almost hurt, to where the ref actually checks on her and looks up the ramp and does this. That's a signal of she's okay. So she was selling so good that they thought she was hurt. Back from the commercial break, Bayley hits a suplex from the second rope and gets a 2 off of it. Bayley then went back to the top, but Stratton cut her off and went to the top herself. Stratton landed a swanton and then a powerbomb for a very, very good near fall. Stratton worked a version of an armbar, more like a Fujiwara. I guess you'd say Fujiwara version. Kind of like MJF's or Deonna Purrazzo's. Bayley then rolled out of it and threw Stratton to the outside. Bayley slammed Stratton on the announce desk and then suplexed her before she jawed at Roxanne in the front row. Really thought we were going to get more with that, but we didn't. But we don't know. Here's the question. Is this Roxanne just showing up to show up, or is this Roxanne being called up? That we don't know. Bayley then went to the top and connected with a flying elbow for a nice near fall. Bayley worked crossface until Stratton got out of it and hit a spine buster for a 2. Bayley hit a Bayley to belly on Stratton after a few seconds for, a near fall. The crowd was nearly silent at this point. They were tired after these almost 3 hours. Stratton set her for the PME, prettiest moonsault ever, but Bayley cut her off and hit her with a sunset flip into a corner for a 2. Bayley slammed Stratton for a near fall, but Stratton came back and got a 2 of her own. Stratton finally was able to hit her cartwheel Alabama slam, jump to the top rope, hit the PME, and pin Bayley to retain the title. Excuse me. Stratton quickly left the ring, credits rolled, and the show went off the air. Again, they went to the last minute, if not a little over. Great match, though. I thought these two worked so well together. Might be Tiffany's best main roster match. I think her best match was what was it, the Street Fight or Extreme Rules match, whatever they called it, with Becky. Granted, I could be a little slighted on that one because I was there live, and so I got to experience it live in the building. But I think that's Tiffany's best match ever. This might be number 2. And it's for sure her best main roster match. But it might be just her second best match ever. And if you want to say it's her best and was better than the Extreme Rules match with Becky, I could see it. I wouldn't argue against it. I wouldn't say, no, you're wrong. I would go, yeah, get your opinion. And this match was, I think the two are right there about even for Tiffany as far as like what's her best match. And I feel like maybe it's because I was there live. You put that Extreme Rules match over just a little bit. But with all of that, you know what I thought of tonight's SmackDown. Now I want to hear what you guys thought. So let's get the poll going. What did you think of SmackDown? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. So let's start that poll if you're watching on Twitch. And let's go refresh the other ones. Also, McAfee will not be on commentary Monday because he's got to go call and do the alternate broadcast for the college football championship game. Wade will be with Michael Cole on Monday. Not Corey Graves. But as far as the polls do go, let's refresh all of these. All right, as far as the Threads poll does go, 69% liked the show, 19% thought it was just all right, and 13% didn't like it. Looking at the Twitter X poll, 71% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right, and 3% didn't like it. As far as the YouTube community poll, 76% liked the show, 19% thought it was just all right, and 5% didn't like it. As the live poll does go, 80% liked the show, 16% thought it was just all right, and 4% didn't like it. Finally, everybody that voted on Twitch liked the show. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. With that, have a great night. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.